Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable Washington quarters. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Top 1. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of one of America's most iconic coins, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1968. Now, at first glance, a 1968 quarter may not seem extraordinary. It looks like many other Washington quarters you've probably held in your hands. But trust me, some of these coins hold secrets that can turn what seems like ordinary pocket change into a prize worth thousands of dollars. So listen carefully, because you won't want to miss a single detail. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, honoring the 200th birthday of the nation's first president, George Washington. The design became instantly recognizable, Washington's bold profile on the obverse, with the American eagle standing proudly on the reverse. By 1968, the quarter had already become a familiar face in circulation, a coin that carried history, pride, and symbolism in every pocket and purse across the country. But here's where things get interesting. The year 1968 was a turning point in U.S. coinage. Just 3 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped making quarters out of 90% silver due to rising costs and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. So, every Washington quarter dated 1968 is made from this modern clad material. However, despite this common composition, certain 1968 quarters are anything but ordinary. This year's issue came from 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, Denver coins bear the D, and San Francisco coins were struck with an S. But the real story begins with the San Francisco Mint, because 1968 was the very first year that proof coins were minted there. These proofs were made with extra care, displaying sharp details and mirror-like surfaces, and they are highly prized among collectors today. Errors, as always, play a huge role in making 1968 quarters rare and valuable. Some examples include double-die obverse coins where letters or numbers appear doubled, giving the design a shadowed look. Others are off-center strikes where part of Washington's face or the eagle on the reverse is missing. A few were even struck on leftover silver planchets by mistake, creating ultra-rare transitional errors. These are the types of coins that can command breathtaking prices when discovered in excellent condition. Condition is another key factor in determining value. Most 1968 quarters went straight into circulation, rattling around in cash registers, vending machines, and pockets for decades. That constant use wore away the fine details and the brilliant luster. Today, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Collectors pay a premium for coins graded at the highest levels, especially when combined with a rare error or proof strike. Beyond condition and errors, the 1968 quarter is special because it represents a shift in American coin history. The silver era had ended, and the clad era was now in full swing. For collectors, that makes 1968 not just another date but a symbol of change, a coin that bridges 2 important periods in U.S. minting. Add to that the fact that San Francisco proof coins began that year, and you can see why this quarter has captured the fascination of so many coin enthusiasts. Now let's pause for a moment and imagine the thrill of discovery. Picture yourself going through an old jar of change passed down from a family member. Among the dimes, nickels, and pennies, you notice a shiny quarter from 1968. At first, it seems ordinary, but under closer inspection, you realize it has a rare minting error or that it's a proof coin in near-perfect condition. Suddenly, you're not just holding 25 cents, you're holding a piece of history worth thousands. That excitement, that possibility, is what makes coin collecting so rewarding. Collectors around the world are constantly searching for these rare finds, and auctions have shown just how valuable they can be. While most 1968 quarters are worth only face value, the exceptional few in top condition or with dramatic errors can bring jaw-dropping results. And it's those hidden gems that fuel the passion of every coin hunter. And now, it's time for the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. If you happen to own a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1968 in flawless condition or with a truly rare minting error, its worth can climb all the way up to an astonishing $83,000. Yes, you heard that right, $83,000 for a coin that most people would simply hand over in a checkout line without a second thought. It's proof that treasures can hide in the most unexpected places, and sometimes history is sitting quietly in your change jar, just waiting to be discovered. So next time you come across a 1968 quarter, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Look closer, because you just might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins of its time. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Top 2. We're diving into the captivating world of one of America's most beloved coins, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1969. Now at first glance, this quarter might seem like just another coin you've seen countless times. But as collectors know, it's often the smallest details that transform an ordinary piece of change into an extraordinary treasure. So listen carefully and enjoy this story, because what you're about to hear may change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay of U.S. currency since its first appearance in 1932, honoring the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1969, the coin had already been in circulation for nearly 4 decades and had become one of the most recognized pieces of American money. But the late 1960s was a turbulent time in the United States, both socially and economically, and coins from this period carry with them a slice of history that makes them even more fascinating. Let's take a closer look at what makes the 1969 Washington quarter so intriguing. First, the design remained consistent. Washington's bold profile on the obverse, surrounded by the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year 1969. On the reverse, the proud American eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. Simple, strong, and timeless. But as every seasoned collector knows, the real magic lies not only in the design, but in the condition, the mint marks, and especially the minting errors. The 1969 quarter was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. The San Francisco issues included both proof coins and business strike coins. Proofs were specially made for collectors, featuring sharp details and mirror-like finishes, and these can be especially desirable when kept in pristine condition. But let's talk about the factors that truly make this coin rare and valuable. First up, condition. Millions of these coins were produced and most went straight into circulation. Over decades of use, their details have been worn down, their shine has faded, and scratches have become common. Finding one today in uncirculated or mint state condition is no small feat, and in the world of coin collecting, condition is king. A quarter that looks like it just came off the press in 1969 can sell for prices that are simply jaw-dropping. Then, we have the minting errors, those happy accidents that collectors love. Double die obverse errors are among the most famous, where the lettering or date appears doubled, creating a shadow effect that's easy to spot under magnification. Off-center strikes are another favorite, where part of Washington's face or the eagle is missing because the coin wasn't aligned correctly during striking. There are even cases of transitional planchet errors, where a quarter was struck on the wrong metal blank, instantly creating a unique rarity. Each of these errors tells a story of how human imperfection and machine misalignment combine to give us something that today is worth far more than 25 cents. Collectors are fascinated by the 1969 quarter not only because of its possible errors but also because of the historical moment it represents. This was a time of change in America, the end of the 1960s, a decade of upheaval, cultural transformation, and innovation. Holding a 1969 quarter feels like holding a small piece of that history, a reminder of where the country was at that moment in time. And when you add rarity, condition, and error varieties into the mix, the coin becomes more than just a keepsake, it becomes an investment. Now imagine this, you're sorting through an old coin collection handed down from a relative, or maybe you stumble upon a dusty jar of change tucked away in a drawer. There it is, a 1969 Washington quarter. You take a closer look and notice it's perfectly preserved, gleaming like new, or maybe you even spot a striking error on its surface. Suddenly, you're not holding an ordinary quarter anymore, you're holding a coin that could transform into a life-changing discovery. That's the thrill that drives so many collectors, and that's why the 1969 Washington quarter has such a special place in the hobby. And now, it's time for the part you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1969 in flawless condition or with one of those rare minting errors, its value can reach an incredible $81,000, yes, $81,000 for a single quarter. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, tucked away in jars, drawers, or collections, waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover their true worth. So the next time you come across a 1969 quarter, don't pass it off as ordinary change. Give it a closer look, because you just might be holding a hidden treasure. Thank you for joining me in uncovering the story of this fascinating coin. Top 3. We're turning our attention to a very special coin, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1982. Now, most people see this coin as ordinary pocket change, but what if I told you that certain examples of the 1982 quarter could actually be worth thousands of dollars? That's right, so stick around, listen carefully, and enjoy this story, because this little coin hides secrets that every collector dreams of uncovering. The Washington quarter had already been in circulation for 50 years by the time 1982 rolled around. First issued in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, the coin's design had become a staple of American currency. On the obverse, Washington's strong and familiar profile, paired with the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the proud eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a design symbolizing both strength and peace. By 1982, this design was already legendary, but what makes this year so significant is not just the artwork, but the circumstances surrounding its production. The early 1980s was a challenging time for the U.S. Mint. Rising costs and budget issues led to some unusual decisions, and 1982 was one of the most important years in modern American coinage. In fact, the Mint made a historic choice in 1982, they did not produce any official mint sets. That might not sound like much at first, but it meant that there were no specially packaged collector sets of quarters available that year. As a result, high-quality, uncirculated 1982 quarters became much harder to find, because nearly all of them went straight into circulation. This shortage of mint sets makes the 1982 Washington quarter especially appealing to collectors. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more difficult compared to other years, which drives up its value. The absence of mint sets alone places this coin in a unique category, but the story doesn't stop there. Let's talk about the different mints. The 1982 quarter was struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark and in Denver with the D mint mark. Proofs were not produced in San Francisco this year, adding to the scarcity of high-grade examples. So, if you're a collector searching for a gem-quality 1982 quarter, you're already facing a challenge, but the real treasures of this year are the minting errors. Some 1982 quarters feature double die errors, where letters or numbers appear shadowed and doubled, creating an eye-catching and rare variety. Others have off-center strikes where parts of Washington's profile or the eagle are missing due to misalignment during production. Still rarer are transitional errors, such as coins struck on planchets meant for other denominations, instantly making them unique and highly valuable. Collectors chase these error coins because they tell stories of imperfection, accidents, and rare chances that slipped past the mint's quality control. Condition, of course, is everything. Because most 1982 quarters entered circulation, many today are worn, scratched, and dull. Finding one in mint state, with crisp details and a strong luster, is like finding a hidden jewel. Add an error to that, and you're looking at a coin that can attract fierce competition at auctions. It's this combination of history, scarcity, and condition that makes the 1982 quarter one of the more exciting finds for collectors. Now let's imagine the thrill of discovery. Picture yourself sifting through an old coin jar or a collection passed down from a family member. You spot a 1982 quarter and notice that it's not just any quarter, it's nearly flawless, or maybe it even shows signs of a rare minting error. Suddenly, you're no longer holding 25 cents, you're holding a piece of American history with value far beyond its face. That rush of excitement, that spark of possibility, is what keeps collectors hooked on the hunt. The 1982 Washington quarter represents more than just money, it symbolizes a moment in time when the mint made unusual choices, and collectors decades later are still feeling the effects. It's a coin that embodies scarcity, history, and the potential for incredible value, and now, for the part you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1982 in flawless condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $79,000, yes, $79,000 for a single quarter. Just think about that for a moment. A coin most people would toss into a vending machine could actually hold the power to change your life. That's the magic of coin collecting: history, rarity, and chance all coming together in a single piece of metal. So next time you come across a 1982 quarter, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Look closely, check its condition, and see if you've stumbled upon a hidden treasure. Thanks for joining me on this exciting journey into the world of rare coins. Top 4. We're going to explore one of the most fascinating coins of the modern era, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1983. Now, at first glance, this coin may look just like any other quarter you've handled over the years. But behind its familiar face lies a surprising story of rarity, minting quirks, and collector demand that has turned some 1983 quarters into truly valuable treasures. So sit back, listen closely, and enjoy this journey into the world of coins. You might discover that what seems ordinary could actually be extraordinary. By the time 1983 arrived, the Washington quarter had already been part of American currency for over 50 years. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the design had become a constant presence in the pockets and purses of everyday Americans. The obverse proudly displays Washington's portrait with "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," while the reverse showcases the striking American eagle, perched with strength and dignity. It was a design that had stood the test of time, but 1983 brought a twist that would set this year apart. The early 1980s was a tricky period for the U.S. Mint. In both 1982 and 1983, the Mint decided not to issue official mint sets. That means collectors couldn't purchase specially packaged uncirculated coins straight from the Mint. Instead, nearly every 1983 quarter went directly into circulation. And here lies the magic: because so many of these coins were used in daily life, high-quality examples are extremely hard to come by. Unlike other years where mint sets helped preserve pristine coins, 1,983 quarters in mint state are genuinely scarce. Now let's talk about the mints themselves. The Philadelphia Mint produced quarters without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck coins marked with a D. Both issues were heavily circulated, making uncirculated pieces even rarer. San Francisco produced proof coins for collectors, but those were a separate story, as they were never intended for general circulation. So what makes a 1983 quarter especially valuable? 3 things: condition, scarcity, and errors. First, condition. Since mint sets were not issued, very few examples survived in the highest mint state grades. Coins that are graded MS-65 or higher can command serious premiums because of their rarity. Next, scarcity. Unlike many modern coins, the 1983 quarter doesn't have a large supply of uncirculated examples, and demand from collectors far outpaces availability. And finally, the errors. Minting errors always capture the imagination of collectors. Some 1983 quarters show double-die obverse varieties, where inscriptions or numbers appear doubled, creating a shadowed effect. Others exhibit off-center strikes, giving the coin a dramatic misalignment that instantly makes it unique. There are also rare examples struck on planchets meant for other denominations, so-called transitional errors that are worth a fortune. Each of these quirks transforms an everyday coin into a prized collectible. Beyond errors and scarcity, the 1983 quarter holds special interest because of its place in U.S. coin history. It represents a time when the mint was focused on mass circulation rather than collector products, a decision that unintentionally created one of the scarcest modern quarters. For collectors today, that makes the 1983 issue a challenge to find, and challenges always spark demand. Now, let's imagine the thrill of stumbling upon one of these coins. Perhaps you're sorting through a family collection, a jar of old change, or even your pocket money. At first, it just looks like another Washington quarter. But then you notice it's from 1983, and on closer inspection, it's sharp, lustrous, maybe even uncirculated. Or better yet, it reveals a striking minting error. Suddenly, you realize you're holding a piece that collectors everywhere would love to own. That feeling, that rush of discovery, is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Collectors know that while most 1983 quarters will only ever be worth 25 cents, the rare few in exceptional condition or with dramatic errors can sell for astonishing prices. Auctions have proven time and again that this year's quarter is not one to overlook, and now comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1983 in flawless condition, or with one of those rare minting errors, its value can soar to an incredible $77,000, yes, $77,000 for a single quarter. It's almost unbelievable, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes the smallest, most ordinary-looking items turn out to be treasures beyond imagination. So next time you come across a 1983 quarter, don't underestimate it. Take a closer look, because you never know, you could be holding history and value in the palm of your hand. Thank you for joining me today on this deep dive into the world of rare quarters. Top 5. We're diving into the story of a coin you might have overlooked countless times, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1996. At first glance, it seems like just another modern quarter, the kind that still jingles in your pocket today. But as we'll uncover together, some of these quarters hide secrets that make them highly desirable for collectors and surprisingly valuable. So listen closely, enjoy the journey, and by the end of this video, you'll know just how much one of these coins could be worth. The Washington quarter has a rich history, stretching all the way back to 1932, when it was introduced to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the decades, it became one of the most familiar coins in circulation, featuring Washington's proud profile on the obverse and a strong eagle on the reverse. By 1996, the design was in its final years before the new state quarters program launched in 1999, which would forever change the face of American quarters. That makes the 1996 issue part of the last stretch of the classic eagle reverse design, giving it special significance for collectors. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, Washington's bust stands bold and dignified, surrounded by the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 1996. On the reverse, the eagle spreads its wings in a symbol of strength and resilience, clutching arrows with olive branches beneath, representing America's balance of defense and peace. For decades, this design was a symbol of stability in American coinage, and by 1996, it carried with it a sense of tradition just before major change arrived. Now, what makes this coin rare and desirable? The answer lies in a combination of condition, scarcity of high grades, and minting errors. Millions of 1996 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and proof coins at San Francisco. Most went directly into circulation, which means they picked up scratches, wear, and damage from everyday use. As a result, finding a 1996 quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition is much harder than you might think. Collectors always seek coins with sharp details and glowing luster, and the rarer they are in such states, the more valuable they become, but perhaps the most exciting factor comes from minting errors. Some 1996 Washington quarters are known to have double die obverse varieties, where letters or the date appear doubled, creating a shadow-like effect visible under magnification. Others feature off-center strikes, where part of Washington's face or the eagle's body is missing due to misalignment. There are also dramatic clipped planchet errors, where the coin itself is missing a curved section of metal, instantly making it unique. These errors are highly prized because each one is essentially a one-of-a-kind piece of history, created by chance during the minting process. Collectors also love the 1996 quarter because it represents a bridge between two important eras in U.S. coinage. On one hand, it's part of the long-running Washington Eagle design, on the other, it's just a few years shy of the revolutionary state quarters program that brought millions of new collectors into the hobby. This historical positioning gives the 1996 issue a special appeal, especially for those who value transitional periods in American coin history. Now imagine this, you're looking through a jar of coins that's been sitting untouched for years. You pick out a 1996 quarter and at first, it just seems like spare change. But then, under the light, you notice its sharp details, no scratches, no wear. Or perhaps you even spot a minting error. In that moment, you realize this isn't just 25 cents, it's a potential treasure, a coin that collectors might pay a small fortune to own. That thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting so exciting and rewarding. Condition, rarity, and errors together create the perfect recipe for value, and the 1996 quarter has all of these possibilities. While the majority of them will never be worth more than their face value, the exceptional few stand out as rare gems in the collecting world, and now comes the part you've been waiting for. If you own a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1996 in flawless condition, or better yet, with a rare minting error, its value can climb to an astonishing $75,000, yes, $75,000 for a coin that most people would hand over in a vending machine without thinking twice. That's the power of coin collecting, the ability to transform ordinary change into extraordinary treasure. So next time you spot a 1996 quarter, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Look closely, check its condition, and search for any unique features. Who knows, you could be holding something truly rare. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss another discovery. Until next time, happy collecting, and may every coin you find bring you closer to hidden treasure.